What's going on, apes and apettes? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are ready to get down to business because we have a lot of business to talk about here in this video. And specifically, I want to go over three things. Most importantly, I've got a lot of comments lately about how if apes own 90% of the float, you can see the price of the stock go down 5 to 10% on any given day. On Friday, down 8.25%. People are confused about this for good reasoning. A lot of creators have not been in the markets all too long, and they will simply tell you it's manipulation. That's not the case. Even any other stock that is owned 90% by institutional investors that are not selling out, you can still see the other 10% push a stock up or down very dramatically on any given day. But we know there's a lot of manipulation going on, so keep that in mind throughout this explanation of what is going on with AMC stock, because I do believe we own 90%, if not more than 90% of the free float. So I want to make that very clear for everybody what is going on and why AMC can move down or up very violently on any given day, even though we own the vast majority of shares. On top of that, second thing I want to go over is going to be the Batman numbers that are coming out. This is very encouraging. This Batman movie is beating the previous Batman movie, and we now have 100% of theaters that are opened up with mask mandates that are going away. It looks like Batman is going to be a major blockbuster movie, and that should serve very well for the fundamental business of AMC. So I want to keep you guys up to date on that movie. Third and final thing is going to be the Iran nuclear deal, because we were hearing last week that we could see a deal, this Iran nuclear deal, in between 24 and 48 hours. If you guys are unaware of that deal, without getting into the specifics too much, how it relates to oil is essentially Iran could almost double their output of oil. We would take sanctions off of Iran oil, and they could flood the markets with oil and drive down the price. And that could be the next big trade, is oil, like I went over in yesterday's video. So we got some news about this. It's very good for the trade, and it's very bullish, so you guys will definitely want to stick around for that. And I think oil is likely to continue to go crazy on Monday. So that is the gist of what we are covering here in this video. If you guys want to stay tuned for the longest intros you have ever seen in an AMC video, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. As well as that, get yourself free stocks, links down below in the description for Webull, Mumu, and Public, and come join the trading community. We have already been hitting a lot of trades over the past weeks. This volatility stretch we've seen is very good for your trading. So come join us, link down below in the pinned comment. So essentially, why the price of the stock has been falling, even though we hold 90% of the float, goes like this. It's all about the velocity, not the total amount of shares that one side or the other holds. It's all about who is willing to buy for a higher price or who is willing to sell at a lower price. If shorts come in and they are willing to short the stock lower and lower and lower and lower, that pushes the stock down very fast. And that's why you can see an 8% drop for the day. Same thing to the upside. If people are willing to now spend more and more and more because the stock starts to rally, FOMO buyers, a good fundamental catalyst, whatever it is, that is why you can see big moves with 10% of the free float, whereas that 90% of the float is not impacting the price of the stock. Not the case. That kind of disregard that. The 10% of the float is going to dictate the bid and the ask. Nobody gives a shit if 90% of the float is held at $50 or $10. Does not matter. It's all about the bid and the ask. What is somebody willing to sell their stock for? What is somebody else willing to buy that stock for? If the amount that people are willing to buy the stock for starts to go down, then you will start to see the stocks and the orders going in for lower prices. That pushes down the stock. Has nothing to do with the 90% of the float that is held by other people. Where that actually makes a difference is when the price of the stock starts to go up in a substantial way, and once you start to see less sellers, once you start to see more buyers less people willing to sell for lower prices, that's when you really start to see the effects of Apes owning 90% of the float. So it's all about volatility and velocity of people willing to buy or to sell, and a lot of people are dictated by emotions, but in AMC specifically, it seems like it is really shorting that happens on any given day, not Apes that are selling. Hopefully that in a nutshell did break down for you exactly why this happens. Let's move on to the Batman numbers that are coming out. We can see right here that the Batman beats Nolan's Batman begins opening week in one day. The Batman takes in $55 million on Friday with an eye toward a $110 million plus weekend, making it the best opening weekend of 2022 so far. And it says the Batman is projected to have the best opening weekend of 2022 so far after beating Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins opening weekend in just one day. So this movie has beat the other Batman Begins movie, the whole weekend numbers for Batman Begins in one day. There's a lot of demand to go to theaters. And I think by the time this weekend is said and done, and I think by the time, give it a couple days, within the next week, you're going to see a lot of people very excited for the box office. And I think that, going back to what I just said, could give fuel to the fire for more people to start buying AMC stock at a higher price, given we are pretty much at that fundamental valuation currently. And that's very well been proven, sitting at about that $15 to $20 range, but finding a lot of support. Once we do hit 15, we instantly bounce back up every single time. Even that day, we had so much fear in the markets, people were freaking out. The stock only touched $13.40 and then rebounded all the way back up to above $15 in the same day. Never once closed under that since that day. So it's clear what is going on. If you're selling out right now, just want to throw this out there, you're selling at the bottom of the barrel, and I would never advocate for that, but it is not financial advice. If you have things you have to deal with, whatever your situation is, it could make sense for you, but by and large, selling at a major loss is usually not a smart route to take. On that note, as far as the short interest, you are looking at 20.91% short interest of your float. Current shares that are sold short of 107.7 million. Cost to borrow max of 2.32%, and the utilization is 100%. Days to cover sitting at 2.5. So all of this looking very, very good. Shorts, they have a big egotistical battle that is going on right now. They don't want to cover. We don't want to sell. It's gonna go back and forth. Eventually, we will see that squeeze and we will see the MOAS, because what do we know out of anything else? This is a provable fact. Shorts, they have to cover eventually. If they're not going to cover when the price is at its fundamental valuation, that means they're going to cover when the price of the stock does go up. And that is very clear and evident at this current moment. Now, as far as this whole Iran nuclear deal and why this is actually so important. So it says Moscow seeks U.S. guarantees before backing Iran nuclear deal. Lavrov. And this is the guy that was actually sanctioned by us and Europe. But it says Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said Friday that Moscow is demanding guarantees from the U.S. before backing the Iran nuclear deal, citing the current wave of Western sanctions against Russia. Quote, it would have been all fine, but that avalanche of aggressive sanctions that have erupted from the West, and which I understand to not have yet stopped, demand additional understanding by lawyers above all. And he basically says, quote, we want an answer, a very clear answer. We need a guarantee that these sanctions will not in any way touch the regimen of trade, economics, and investments relations, which is laid down in the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, Lavrov said. And goes on to say, in quotes, there are several topics which our Iranian colleagues want more clarity on, and we consider those as fair demands. Quote, we have asked for a written guarantee that the current process triggering by the United States does not in any way damage or right to free and full trade, economic and investment cooperation, and military technical cooperation with the Islamic State. So what it looks like right now, this deal, Iran nuclear deal, is not going to go through. And just so you guys are aware, roughly Iran does export about 1.5 million barrels of oil per day. A little bit higher than that, I do believe, but that's a rough ballpark. I went over it in one of the last videos. Now, after this deal, they will export over 3 million barrels of oil a day. And without getting into the specifics around the nuclear side of this, that's what is important for the trade, and that's what could have made oil go down on Monday. Doesn't look like that is going to happen. Does not look like this deal is going to happen anytime soon. And if America does come out and sanction or do control exports on Russian oil as well, that's when things are going to get very good for the price of oil and for the trades that we do have on. Just to reiterate yet again, what trades I do currently have on is this BP. This one I'm very excited for. BP $35 call for April 14th. I bought them at 18 cents a piece. I'm up 9% or about $25. I did get extra time on this because I don't know how long it will take for us to actually sanction oil and to see the price of oil continue to go up. But I think that is the last big move that we will see in oil, is when America does sanction oil, put export controls out there, and if this Iran nuclear deal fails, which it looks like it is going to. It doesn't look like we're going to make some kind of concrete decision against not sanctioning Russia or Iran around that situation, considering what they have done. So that is a very good trade in my personal opinion. It's not something to YOLO list. This is about 1% of my portfolio, so you can tell it's very, very small. And if you are going to play that according to your portfolio size. It's not a recommendation. It's not something that you should do. You will lose all of your money, and that is a very well-known fact. Options, about 83% of the time, do expire worthless. I do also have this trade as well, Duke Energy. This one is up 280%. Same thing, April 14th. I still have 3 of them. They're worth $95 a piece. I bought them for $25 a piece, and I actually bought 5 of them for $125. Here's my favorite strategy of all time. Bought 5 for $125, sold 2 at $70 for $140, collected $15 in profits, and now I get this whole trade for free, and I can ride it out. Once oil makes its last move, that will go crazy, make a lot of money, and all is fine and all is dandy, but you can't lose any more than you put in. Worst case scenario, you walk away with $15 of profits. So if you do plan to trade oil, that's the way to trade it. Go in with a quantity you are okay with losing. In my case, $125 on this trade. Once they do go up in your favor, like in this case, 300%, you go say, hey, sell 2 for $70, collect $140, get my initial investment back, ride 3 for free to capture that last move, because you want skin in the game, but you want to be safe and get your initial investment back at the same time. And I also did this with this BP trade, and I want to show you guys the clear strategy that is involved here, because it's very straightforward in that sense. Let's go down. Let's see. It was pretty hard getting filled, honestly, but I did buy 5 contracts at $36 a piece for $180. They went up to 75 cents a piece. I sold 3 for $225, got about, what is that, $45 in profits, and I get to keep 2 trades. But what happened now is the price of that trade, those options, went back to pretty much what I initially paid for them. So this is all still profits, but if I wouldn't have done that, I wouldn't have made the $45. I would only be up 2.75%, and I wouldn't have this extra profit as well, and I wouldn't have a free trade. So that's the scoop. I hope you guys found value out of this video. It looks like oil will continue to go crazy, as America did say that we are looking into sanctioning oil, and that did make USO make a big move on Friday. Up 6.61% during the day and up 0.67% after hours. I should have kept my oil trades. I did make money on them, right? Look, I bought them at $113, and then I sold them at $250 a piece. So I made over $250 on this trade, but they are worth a whole hell of a lot more than that currently. What's this at? Yes, that would have been an $800 per contract trade. I would have made $1,600 on that. So that's why you want to join the trading community, so you can stay up to date with all of these trades as soon as they are placed, and you can get in on the action alongside us. So that is going to be all for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Get your free stocks down below in the description of this video. You guys enjoy your weekend, and I will see you in the next one.